What's up, everybody? Welcome to Shared Screens Media Club. I'm tired as fuck. You know the drill. We don't talk about books. Joining me today is Austin J. Ernst.
Hi, hello.
And we got Brett Jamerson.
Surf's up.
You mean Sands up, I guess?
Still surfing. Kind
Yeah,
of.
you're
Fair
surfing.
enough.
Surfing.
And we also have Lear and Jazz.
Hi.
Today we
I
are
don't know what that noise was.
It's fine. Today we are discussing the penultimate episode to the first season, possibly only season, of MoonKnight, episode 5. The name that I do not remember off the top of my head right now.
Asylum.
Asylum, Arkham. All right. I think, personally, this was the best episode so far. This episode was fucking wild. I was also out of town this morning, so I was forced to watch this in a Starbucks and, hide my face from crying in a Starbucks at, 9:30 in the morning.
I just love the image of you in a Starbucks. Everybody's coming in, morning commute, getting ready to go to work, all this shit, and Jordan is just hunched over like a sleep-deprived gremlin, watching MoonKnight on his Mac, trying not to cry.
What was your seating arrangement? Were you on one of those comfy couches?
No. It was a
or
very weird Starbucks layout, but I found a little corner, and so and I was kind of sitting like this anyway. So I feel like for the most part, people couldn't tell that I was tearing up in a Starbucks.
You just look like you were having a rough day. Just like this the entire time.
Yeah, but at 9:30 in the morning.
Oof. Oof.
With
Already off to a bad start.
Yeah.
with a chocolate croissant, their kettle barbecue chips, and the pink drink.
Oh yeah, because
Wow.
Jordan doesn't drink coffee, so he drinks.
I ordered the
he
pink
drinks
drink.
the bitch drinks at Starbucks.
Hey, that's not shame.
The guava
people
drink
for
they
their
had a couple
Starbucks
of years
burgers.
ago, fire.
Oh my god. They go out of their way to make them look ridiculous. And it just have you seen the new one that's all over the internet that's matcha and strawberry? And if it doesn't mix right, it looks like vomit.
Ooh,
And it's like, you
wonderful.
guys are doing this just to be weird.
Just walk up.
like-
Yeah, give me the vomit. Thanks.
Yeah, and that's eating grass and strawberries. That can't taste good together.
Vomit.
Is that
That's
all
right. To
matcha
bring it back
is? Just
to
grass?
Have you ever had matcha?
Sure.
Do I look like the
Honestly-
type of person that's had matcha?
It's a very earthy flavor. I think it tastes like grass. I think it's right up there with doing a wheatgrass shot.
Gotcha.
Honestly, what really gets me with those drinks isn't what they look like. It's the names. You've seen those TikToks where people make
Yeah.
up names and it's it sounds so dumb.
Yeah, imagine this face
that's
walking
what
up
gets
to a
me.
barista and going, "Can I have the pink drink?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I'm these are they're so embarrassing to order, and I love it.
I don't care. Anyway, what did you guys think of the episode? Because it had me crying in the Starbucks.
It was great. I really enjoyed it. I think it paid off a lot of the what came before, which I enjoyed, because I felt like it was doing a lot of setup the previous episodes for where we're getting to now, and that kind of made my enjoyment of the episodes leading up to now a little lesser than I would have liked. But I think with this episode, I'm not saying it all it's all forgiven now, but I am higher on the show now that we got this build up to this kind of penultimate episode. I'm higher on it than I was a few episodes ago for sure. I enjoyed it.
Gotcha. What about you, Brett?
Yeah, it was incredible. I didn't expect it to get so raw. And I think
You said incredible in the most monotone. It was incredible. Sorry, it just made me laugh.
it was incredible. But
There we go.
But yeah, I think seeing the origin of how he developed the ID was important, and the way they showed it was they showed it in a smart way where you kind of get the picture without actually getting into the real stuff towards the end with his mom. And yeah, it was very emotional. I for the overall story, I'm interested to see where we go next episode, since this is the last one. But I think it's just so cool that this is a superhero show, and we've gotten 10 minutes of actually Moon Knight, quote unquote, kicking butt. So I think that's really cool. that they're able to be confident enough to do that. And yeah, I can't wait for next week to see the big showdown.
Yeah. That I feel like this episode has me saying the thing I've said about every single Disney Plus show at this moment where I'm like, that's a lot to wrap up in the last episode, guys. How are we going to do it? And like, some shows have stuck the landing better than others, but it does feel like next week it's like, oh, release Khonshu, end Harrow, resurrect our body. And it's like they very clearly were teasing Jake, and we all assumed that he was going to be in this episode because they showed that sarcophagus. So it was interesting that they didn't bring him up here. And later, now I'm going to get to you.
I don't think Steven that picked up the thing is Steven. All the way. I think that was Jake trying to
that picked up what?
Because he picks up the glass. I don't know if it was an award or a paperweight.
Triangle thing, yeah.
Yeah, that glass triangle thing.
The thing that's perfectly made for stabbing.
Probably a pyramid of sorts.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand why they make awards and paperweights like that, because people have been murdered using them because they're so sharp.
It's not even the fact that why do they make them? It's like, if you were the director of a mental hospital, why would that be the one?
Why do you have that?
Why would that be the one you got for your desk?
Yeah, you can have it in your office, but put it somewhere that your average human can't reach it.
Yeah. You're not allowed to have a regular door handle in those places, but that award is just sitting right there.
Yeah. Just because Steven is not, that the voice starts to change and the mannerism starts to change, but I've also accepted that there's a very high probability we're not getting Jake, which is just upsetting to me because I want to see him murk some people. However, the people on Twitter who think that Jake and Bushman are the same people, I'm gonna kill someone. Yeah, you guys didn't see this? All morning there were all these tweets where people are like, I am convinced that Jake is actually Bushman. Jake killed all 10 of them at that dig site. It was never his partner. He was alone. No, it was Bushman. I know that WandaVision and Loki and now this have fucked us all up where we think everything is a clue, but sometimes a horse is just a fucking horse. Leave it alone.
I think it's Jake.
It was cool we got the Bushman confirmation, or that he's here, that he's in the world.
The only reason I'm saying I'm sticking with I think it's Jake, 'cause I had that theory 3 episodes ago or whatever, maybe 2 episodes ago. So I'm just sticking with it now.
That it was Jake who killed them. Yeah, I thought
specifically the dad, the father.
Okay, what I thought was an interesting reveal was that Layla's dad wasn't didn't drop him on the tomb, but he just kind of crawled there himself.
Yeah, it was interesting to me that they changed that. That's such a consistent in the comics that I just kind of assumed people would be putting him there.
I also thought that he was crawling to the tomb in hopes that it would save him, not for. No. I don't know if he was gonna shoot his brains out. I don't get why he had to stay. Why he had to move. He could have stayed in place.
Yeah, that's my question too. Why did he crawl in there anyway? If he wasn't placed there, why?
Because Bushman left him there. All of those people that he fought that beat the shit out of him left him there. He wants to go somewhere so that if they come back to make sure he's dead, they don't find him and kill him.
Gotcha.
It's a very weird, I have terms kind of thing, but I get it. Because he was abandoned in the desert.
My rebuttal to that was he was just going to off himself anyway. But I see what you mean. He wanted to do it on his terms. I get it. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can accept that.
But we could talk about the big topic of the episode, which is the reveal of, I guess, how the altar of Stephen Grant was formed. Where
I was very impressed with them.
I was surprised.
I mean, I knew it was probably going to be something sad because, that's the whole thing, is usually something incredibly traumatic triggers your first altar.
Mm-hmm.
So, when they started running into the woods, the progression of my notes is slowly going, oh, something's going to happen when they go in the woods. And then when, oh, no, that brother is not coming home.
Okay, so...
that small child is not coming home.
I thought at first, until the end, where they showed him turn into the altar and say that he made up Stephen, I thought that Stephen's consciousness was the brother, and the brother was living inside of him.
I didn't think that, but that idea did pop in my head, like leading into it, seeing the both of them, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. But
Yeah.
it was there. It was
That
there.
makes me think
Listen,
of
I don't know. Maybe the Egyptian god did something, man. I don't know. But I was like, that's gonna get like really weird, like Mega Man Battle Network-y.
Yeah, I totally had that idea too, and then it showed his name, which was like what, like Randall or something like that.
Yeah.
Which
And they called him Roro,
I
which
think I
is
just
such a
hate.
stupid nickname.
I think I just I hate all the names in the show. I think like they're very.
Come on,
generic,
Mark Spector. That's a dope name, bro.
It's a cool last name. I'll give him that.
Roro Spectre.
That made me think
Roro
of
Spec.
the brother, like the baby brother being in Mark. Like made me think of Dwight from The Office when he's like, "I absorbed my brother,
My twin in the womb.
yeah, and I have a strength of a little baby."
There was some twins in my graduating class for my first high school, and one of them is missing a peck. So the joke was that the one twin took it in the womb and like ate it. Like that was the joke. He just didn't have a peck.
Interesting.
Wait, like a nipple or like the actual
Full
chest?
peck. A full peck. Like you could just see his ribs.
Like it was just an empty space.
Yeah, it was just like skin against his ribs, while the other side had the boob.
It's like that's like Kyle XY.
Man with no belly button. Also, I would like to point out really quick before I forget, as I go into my rant about this mom. I am not saying that like no mother, that losing a child is not difficult. However, fuck both of his parents. If I was Mark, I'd be like, fuck you, I am never coming back to
Yeah,
this
no, it's
house.
one of those things
I
where
don't
it's
give a
like-
shit who you are. Like, fuck off.
That's definitely the wrong reaction to this situation.
From both of them. From both of his parents. Like
The dad's
I
trying to
just-
act like she's not doing that, and the mom is just giving this child
beating him
survivor's
with
guilt.
A belt. Like she beats him with a belt.
Yeah, but to me, I mean, I think like the survivor's guilt aspect coming from your parents is gonna fuck you up way more.
Oh yeah. No, I
If
agree.
it's coming while you're being beaten with a belt,
But
like,
that happened at a point, like, she was doing the other thing way longer and sooner. Like, she yelled at him in the middle of the kid's Shiva. Like, go upstairs, you did this.
Yeah, which my thing was like, there are other people in your home right now. Even if you have this moment of anger at your only child, as misplaced as it may be, there are other humans in your not do
She
this
clearly
right
didn't
now.
care in that moment.
Also,
He was just hell bent on one thing.
I have a dumb question.
Feel free.
Carry on.
Where did they grow up?
It's New
Chicago.
York. Chicago. not New
Okay,
York.
because, like,
Why?
I understood that Steven had the British accent because he's based off that character. But the roads didn't look like New York City, so I was just very confused.
Well,
It
I
was
mean,
Chicago.
yeah,
he had-
in
he had a
theory,
Cubs
it's
hat, too.
Chicago. Realistically, it doesn't look like anywhere in New York because it is a generic city lot
Yes, but
on some back
but the
lot
thing
in
is-
Atlanta, and they all look terrible.
Specifically, what I should have said is, like, the road, at least where his house was, looked more English than it did American.
Well, no, if you get up into there are areas like that, it was Chicago, but there are areas like that in New York too. If you get up into the 100s that are like all townhouses and
Yeah.
like more residential, and you can walk in the road and not get run over.
The dream.
But at a certain point, Elias should have been like, "You need to get your shit together, and I'm not letting you abuse our child anymore."
At some point, you
I'm
have
leaving,
to put
pull your
the
crap together.
grieving mother in therapy.
Yeah.
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 I don't talk to a priest, a rabbi, a therapist. I don't give a shit. Talk to somebody.
All
and,
three?
Like, all three, yeah. Like,
Thinking-
talk to somebody, but, like,
Thinking
I'm not.
On that topic, I really appreciated Steven, like, stopping Mark and being like, it wasn't your fault. Like, you were just a child. Like,
Yeah.
that was a moment that I saw coming like a mile away with everything we got, but I just, for some reason, that scene really got me. Like, that was just really well done. Contrary to that, like, the punch, when he punches himself, it was really weird. Like, there was no sound effect. It was just like,
Yeah.
and he's, oh.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, what? Like, I get it because he's punching himself, so it's weird, but, like, I was like, oof.
They're
Like,
also,
that got me.
like, in the underworld and stuff.
Sure.
I also attributed that to Steven being less of a physical fighter
Yeah.
than
Yeah, because he goes,
Mark would be.
ow, after.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then we get the moment where Steven finally, like, fights off those things on the boat, the tormented souls or whatever they are. And then Mark's about to fall off the boat, and I was like, hey guys, I was right. Mark's gonna die. And then Steven dies. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Flips the boat over.
I feel like my predictions are always like, oh, like I get really close, they tease it, and then you're stupid, and I'm like, cool.
Yeah, they really went for the your inner child holds all your trauma theory in this episode.
Yeah. And see, the other reason why I thought that they were going to show Jake was that when she put the hearts on the scale, I thought the reason why it wasn't balancing was because the third heart
You and
wasn't
everybody
there.
else, brother. Literally, that's why everybody thought. I was sitting here going, oh, they're going to go run inside. They're going to go through all these memories. They're going to find memories they don't actually remember and find Jake, and like he'll add his heart and it'll balance out and it'll be all cute. And then it was, no, you got to drop the dead weight that is your childhood trauma. And I respect it. That is a choice I would make, be like, no, this character's got to go. And I respect Disney for going for it.
Yeah.
I do.
Well,
I enjoyed it.
The way I took that, and again, it wasn't like visually represented because there was only like 2 hearts on the thing, but I took it as even those 2 hearts were still representing Jake's in a way. So, and I just thought like 3's an odd number. Like to balance it out, there has to be 2 kind of a thing. So then when Steven dies, there's essentially just 2 on there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just how I took it.
Well, so Oscar Isaac said like publicly that there's more than 2. So we know one more is coming at least. Who knows if there's going to be more.
He could also be the post-credit scene, Jake.
That would be
that could be something that they like, because there's only one episode. It will be interesting to see what they do with Jake if they introduce him next week and maybe like sum his little arc up in one episode. That's gonna be tough. Or they could just push it to next week. And remember, the hearts like weren't whole either. They were like just part of, I can't remember how it was actually,
like half full.
Yeah, something like that. It was like half a heart for each of them or something like that. And then, and this is all speculation, with Steven quote unquote dying, going into the sands, like because he's not like a physical, like I don't know how to, like, I'm not trying to discount him being a person, but like because he's the altar of Mark.
There are other occupants of the body.
Yeah, because he's the altar of Mark. Like, doesn't he still reside within the mind?
Well, it looks like right now in the underworld they are they are being considered as separate beings, which is a choice for the underworld to make.
And DID is like MoonKnight's thing, so if they get rid of that, that would be interesting.
I think what'll be interesting in a way to bring up Jake, if Steven was the altar he invented to kind of pretend that everything was good and great, maybe Jake's the one he used to take his anger out with. If that makes sense, because we know that Jake's a little more stabby.
Really?
Sure.
Talking of predictions, Brett was right last week where they confirmed that all the ancestral planes that we've seen, like all the afterlives that we've seen,
exist.
All coexist. Like she brought up the Black Panther astral plane, just like Brett did last
ancestral.
week.
I love when Marvel MCU stuff just establishes things extremely well with one line.
Yeah.
Like, I get a real good kick out of that. Yeah. That's what they did.
She just said that there's a lot of planes of existence, because we know that, like, hell...
Well, she also said, like, she specifically dropped the ancestral plane. It was like, it's gorgeous there.
But like the Thor movies have also shown us that, like, hell, like the Nordic hell, not the Judeo-Christian hell, like, exists, as does Valhalla and whatnot. So it's very nice to just know that they're like, they're all kind of just the same energy shown differently.
Yeah, it's just different planes of the underworld, what they said, and like with the real world implications, it's like, hey, this is all valid. Like, it's not like this underworld or this specific like way of life is like the right way. So I thought that was cool too.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with the plot or anything. It was just very funny to me. So they like start showing all the like souls that are being taken before their time because Harrow's doing his whole thing. dropping in. I'm like, I know that this is dramatic. These people are not being given a natural death. Their souls are just being plunged into what is basically limbo for the rest of time. But them falling like a bunch of little purple meteors and creating little craters in the sand is really funny.
Oh,
and then they just crawl up like zombies, and it's just very funny.
the thought I had, I was like, what type of rainstorm happened when Thanos snapped?
Yo, can you imagine being like any god that exists in the underworld, and suddenly all these people show up, and you're just like, what happened?
You're just looking at your
like,
calendar like,
copying
today was
it.
my day off.
Yeah, like there's the whole thing in Greek mythology that like Hades looks at the numbers of every amount, and there's only a certain amount that are supposed to come in, every like day. Like if Thanos happens, he's just like, oh, what?
It's empty.
Just imagining like Hades now with like reading glasses and a pencil trying to like check his math.
To this day.
Yeah, once he balances the books, the Avengers undo the snap.
He's like, finally closes the big thing, and son of a.
It was cool to see. It makes sense on multiple levels why Tawaret was there, because one, the Ennead locked up Anubis for some unknown reason, so of course he wouldn't be like presiding over the dead. And
Who locked up Anubis?
the Ennead, the other gods.
Oh,
Yeah, it was last week, right, when they showed all the statues. Yeah.
oh, I
Anubis.
didn't. I watched that episode. I was like, I want to go back and look and see what other gods are there, and then forgot to do it. I didn't realize Anubis was there.
And then because she's the goddess of fertility,
He said
and
women and children.
Parenthood.
women and children, it makes so much sense on that level too, with Mark and Steven's
Oh, sure. I see what you mean.
predicament. I guess that's the word I just came
See,
up with. And so
when Steven started flipping out, he was like, why is there a child here? I was like, oh, is this going to be like some American Sniper situation?
No, see, I thought the child was young Mark. This is why I got confused in the flashback scene at first, because I went, oh, they're doing like a whole stupid thing about embracing your inner child, like whatever.
I also really I enjoyed the sorry, I thought you were done, but you were just swallowing.
No, it's
saliva
fine.
or
Sorry, I had a hiccup. And I thought that they were just going to do a whole inner child thing, and then they chased, and he was coloring Gus. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, when Steven came around, he remembered the drawings of, like, one fin fishy. I get it. Like, I get what we're going for. And then they were calling him by a different name. I was like, I don't get what they're going for anymore. I'm confused. Wait, what?
And then the kid fucking drowned, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. That's fucked up.
I enjoyed
I enjoy it, but it's...
Mark was so defensive for, like, not going into these moments for Steven. Like, that aspect I didn't see. At all.
Well, I think
That angle of it, at least, I didn't.
I really liked that just because it is so common for there to be an altar that is more not childlike, but not dominant, I guess. That you revert to for protection, because it's kind of like people can do it without having DID, where like something incredibly traumatic happens and they revert to like adolescence, where they become like very like subservient and looking for people to take care of them, like that kind of thing. It can also happen if you don't introduce new siblings to your children correctly, and they'll regress on potty training and that kind of stuff.
Oh, I thought that was just middle child syndrome, where you're like, I want attention now.
No, there is even if you have two kids, if you don't prep them correctly for like what the new baby is going to mean, they can regress. It's usually they forget all the potty training. Potty training can be crazy traumatic, and that's really funny.
I'm assuming that happens when the siblings are close in age together, and not like some 14-year-old pissing his pants because mom and dad brought home a baby.
To my knowledge, yes. To my knowledge, it's when your kid is like anywhere from like 2 to like 6 is when that happens. Anything above that, I think it's just you start acting out in other ways, like breaking shit and talking back to your teachers.
I
could be wrong though. I don't know.
I did that.
See, I feel like my mom had my siblings so quickly that I just, by the third one, I was like used to it.
Well, do you have any memories without any of your sisters?
I mean, I definitely
'Cause
have
isn't-
some, because my youngest was born when I was 8. So, like, I definitely have some memories without her.
No, but like your youngest sister was born when you were 8. The other 2 were there.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, do you
like,
mean, do I have any memories
your-
before the first one?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't want
Probably
to say your
not,
sister's
no.
names because you're only like a year apart from her.
Yeah. That's fair.
Which, I mean, there are some people that are like, I have memories from my crib, but
No.
I don't know.
And
if
then I
believe that kind
also
of shit.
grew up in a house that had other kids because my dad and my uncle lived together at a point. So, like,
Yeah.
I was always around, like, siblings, for lack of a better term.
You were more of a twin than a firstborn.
I was somehow a firstborn, a twin, and a younger child, like, within the first 3 years of my life all at once.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it in
Neat.
therapy tomorrow.
That explains it.
Really quick. I know I bring this up every week. Fucking Ethan Hawke as Harrow.
Oh, you
is
mean
just
Ned
good.
Flanders?
Oh my god, dude, that line
that
was so
that was a
funny.
good line.
I was debating tweeting earlier just a picture of Ned Flanders and putting MoonKnight spoilers without
Without context.
and then like I just got distracted and never did it. I know nothing about The Simpsons except Ned Flanders, and early Ned Flanders is just very funny to me.
Stupid, sexy Flanders.
Um,
That's a line,
Okay.
not me being creepy.
okay. Like he has a line earlier on, because I know they constantly flash back to that, but he has a line earlier on when he's talking and he's like, "You're seeing an animal now. This new animal character interests me," and we hadn't seen a lot of her yet at that point. And I was like, honestly, she interests me too, Arthur. If you could get him to talk about that, that'd be nice, because I don't know if she's like, what's happening.
Yeah, like, fuck you, but keep it going for like a minute.
Like keep going. Stop being a dick. But like, and yeah, he's just so fucking good. And like when Steven finally comes out, it's like that whole back and forth, and like I don't know, he was just, and the calling his mom was brutal, because like that's the thing. At the end of the day, mental health, a lot of like things like DID and a lot of other mental health things are to protect you from stress and like protect you from more trauma. And so deep down somewhere in there is a theory that like people know what's reality. It's just something in their brain doesn't want them to accept it and shuts it down. And so watching that realization slowly come of like the breakdown of Steven was like both of them like a masterclass.
Well, I think it also comes from the fact that, like, death is tough regardless, but if you talk to people, the sudden death of someone is always way harder to process than, like, when, God forbid, if somebody was to get sick, and because, like, you have a longer time to process everything happening. And then for Steven, it's not even that, oh, this happened. It was like, this happened like a month or 2 ago, but we lied to you about it.
Yeah. Which is just like so sad, because I made a joke earlier on with the postcards.
I thought you said that Mark was writing the post. I was
thought Mark
waiting for him
was sending them to Steven.
actually say that.
I feel like this though confirmed that like
Yeah.
Mark wrote those postcards from his mom. Mark wrote them.
Yeah.
I mean, now we see how protective he was of Steven.
Well,
So,
see,
like,
that's
it totally
kind of the
makes
other
sense
reason
that-
why I thought that Steven was the brother's consciousness, because it really does start to feel now in this episode that, like, Mark does look at Steven like a little brother he needs to protect.
Well, it's also, he says it. Steven is the persona that's not supposed to have to deal with hard things. That's the point of Steven.
Yeah.
Steven exists for Mark to escape into, and his life is like this. Like, think about his life in London. It's just this docile thing where, like, yeah, his boss is a bitch, but, like, he's doing fine for the most part.
He's got his gift shop and his fish.
Yeah,
normal,
and he's
normal problems.
yeah, and he's totally pleased with that. He doesn't sleep well, but I think that's more Kansu's doing than the mental health issues.
Sure.
I love all the little like versions of Kansu they're throwing in places, like where they step on the brothers, like there's a dead pigeon there, and like Mark looks down and it's actually Kansu's little.
Is that just teasing that Khonshu has been like had his hand in this all along, or what is that?
Well, that's a whole debate in the comic, because Kansu likes to be like, Kansu will tell Mark when it works for Kansu that he's been there since the beginning, that he picked him out at birth and has been with him, and that the DID is all because of Kansu, and that if Mark was strong enough to get rid of him, he'd be whole and like worthy of love. And like at other times, like, no, you've always been this way. I just make it worse because I'm adding a voice in there.
So it's like basically the debate people have about the Virgin Mary. Got it. Some religions think that she was chosen from birth to like be someone special to God, and others believe no, she was a regular person until God selected her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like chicken or the egg?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. I feel like that's something I should know after 9 years of Catholic school, but I have no idea what the Catholics believe.
See, I only know it because Orthodox believe in the other way, that they think that she was regular for a while. Sorry, God, that was a bad way to put it. They think that she was just a regular person and then God selected her.
Okay.
So yeah,
I think this version
Parallels.
of Moon Knight is not from birth, right? Because he didn't develop the DID until...
The death of
His,
but the DID was not
brother.
Kansu's doing. We know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
That is
it's
what
like
I
Kansu
believe.
just adds a voice when there's already
And
extra
it seemed
voices.
it seemed like literally they called it out that it was opportunistic in that moment. When
Oh
he
yeah, that was another good moment too, where Steve is like, "Yo, he used you," like, and then Mark is kind of like fighting that, like, "No, he just brought out like what I always was," and Steven's like, "No, you have to understand, like, he just used you in this moment because it was opportunity for him."
I would be okay with being used if I got to not die.
I mean, if you're in that moment, you make rash decisions, but yeah.
Well,
Brett, I
yeah,
really thought
and
you were about to
that's-
say you'd be cool getting used if it meant you got superpowers.
well, that too, yeah, sure.
Hell yeah.
But I also like that they did it that way because I want to get to there are certain runs in the comic where like, hey, yeah, it is either you're gonna die or you stay alive and like kind of have a meaning to your life, and this thing like Kansu brings you back. But I also like the idea that later on in the comics there will be people who will say to Mark and be like, Kansu's using you, and he's like, yes, I know, but I'm doing good using the powers he gives me, so I feel like I'm atoning for all the shit I did before him. So like it's fine. Like it's kind of like a mutually reciprocal, like we're each getting something out of this.
We're using each
Yeah.
other.
Just because it started from a place of negativity doesn't mean he's not using it for positive means, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
When life
Well-
gives you lemons, make lemonade, guys. Mark Spector.
I want to bring up something that we kind of hinted on earlier about all the dead people that he killed, or like the dead people that were people that he had killed.
Mm-hmm.
One, they looked like whites from Game of Thrones. Them just
Why does
standing there.
everything Marvel does that all the time?
With the eyes too, like that was a little unnerving in a good way, like a cool way. But two, like he kind of felt guilty about murdering like all of these like really bad people allegedly, right? So
He felt like he did the right thing, but he acknowledged it was not an easy thing to do because he said to Steven, he goes, you try taking a life. Like, he can tell himself all day that these were the worst of the worst and that they maybe legitimately did deserve this, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he wanted to be the guy that had to do it.
It's the
Yeah.
Dexter thing. You kill bad people, and like, yeah, you're killing bad people, but like at a certain point that takes a toll on you. I think remembering all of their faces perfectly and the cities you killed them in was a lot, and like,
I mean, technically, remember every face you see, even if you don't remember it.
yeah.
maybe
So by that logic, he wouldn't remember what city they were from.
Yeah, the city thing, I don't know.
Yeah. I just like, I don't know, like, because I did the same thing where Steven was like, you remember I literally wrote down, you remember every kill you ever made? And then he does the whole line of like, you tried taking a life. I was like, you know what, there.
it only looked like 20, 30 people. It was like
That's a
half
lot
of
of
that.
people to murder. When the average person goes through life murdering 0 people, murdering
I'm
30
just
is
saying,
a
like,
lot.
I'm just saying, like, if I went to Chicago and I killed 2 people, I would probably remember what they looked like.
That was an oddly specific thing, Brett. You have something to admit?
So here's my.
I'm just saying the city because you remember the cities. So if like I went
Chicago
to
was
some
relevant.
random city I had never been to,
If
and
I
my-
happened to kill 2
like,
people walking down 5th Street in Chicago around, I don't know, May 2016, I think I'd remember it.
like yeah, like you just would remember
Can't
that. At
have
least
it.
I think I would.
Claire's trying to take my pen.
Yeah, that wasn't too crazy to me. I mean, it was like a, but yeah, no,
You think you think he was like a douchey frat boy that like keeps their body count in their notes
No,
But,
that's
like-
fucked up. That's some sociopathic serial killer bullshit right there.
Blame it on Khonshu. I don't know.
Khonshu's got a list of confirmed kills. Oh god, somebody's like, Mark, did you kill this person? I don't remember. Maybe Khonshu does.
Listen, Khonshu got kicked out, and they're like, well, listen, we want to invite you back in, but, like, what have you been up to? And he's like, I got receipts. It's either a list or a slideshow.
When he threw the water in Harrow's face, when Steven came out and they suddenly jerked back, that was really funny.
I enjoyed that.
It reminded me of that TikTok trend where like people throw water in someone's face and then like beat them up or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
What's with you and being violent?
What?
Wait.
Somebody please get the timestamp to that because I need that to be the social video.
I'll send
I was
you
going to
the
make the
TikTok.
incredible part social, but no, this is the social now.
Here's some water.
I'll send you the TikTok because it's hilarious. It's like someone's like, "Hey, can I have help with this math homework?" And then someone throws water in their face and starts like beating them up or whatever.
No,
it's
are
like
these
not real.
scripted?
Yes.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Does that
Yeah, it's
sound-
like from every TikTok I've seen, it's like
Incredibly
19-year-olds
scripted.
or it's like
Gotcha.
19-year-old kids doing something dumb. Yeah.
Here's the thing. Does it sound incredibly stupid? Yes. Are all trends like that? Yes. So it fits right in.
I don't know. I feel like there's a difference between, like, the cinnamon challenge and the throw water and
not.
beat a dude up challenge.
They're same wavelength, in my opinion.
See, when he threw the water in Harrow's face and Harrow was just kind of... He just kind of stared at him for a second. I thought of that episode in Friends where, like, everybody... There's that girl that, like, thinks Joey is actually the character that he
Brooke
plays.
Shields, how dare you say there's some chick? That is Brooke Shields. You
My
put
bad.
some name
But
on her
anyway,
and some respect on her name.
Every
The
one
name
of them...
on her name.
Every single one of the other friends just walk up to Joey and be like, he did this to me, and they toss water in his face, and every time he goes to speak, somebody else tosses water. I don't know, give that energy off.
I respected how Harrow was just like focused on Steven. Is that Steven? Like even with water in his face, he was like,
Well, I
This
think
is
in
something-
this...
easier to manipulate.
Last week, Harrow.
I just respected it from that perspective. But
Last week, Dr. Harrow was a little more unhinged in terms of he lost his cool a little bit more. This week, he was like cool as a cucumber. Like he was so chill about it all.
Well-
And we just still don't know what that like part of the duat is, or if it even is.
That's
you
what
know,
I was
like,
about
we
to say. Is
don't
like,
know.
are we... I mean, we obviously understand that it's Harrow, but is it actually Harrow?
We don't.
Am I
Yeah, I
making
don't know.
sense? Like, they're in the underworld right
think
now.
it
Everything
could-
they're looking at is an analogy. Harrow's trying to control them, and maybe because they're of their DID, they viewed this all as a mental hospital, him being the director. But when I see that character do something nice, I do not go like, oh, they're showing a new side to Harrow. In my head, this is a different character. This is a...
But also, Harrow doing nice things for his own end is not out of character with what they've established.
Yes,
too.
but you know what I mean is like I don't view this as like I don't view everything that happened in this episode that Ethan Hawke acted out as like something that adds depth to Harrow's character.
No, he's just a phenomenal actor, and it's just great.
Yes.
I really like the Hippo character. I want more of her, but does she not have like a chick somewhere on Earth, or like a dude somewhere on Earth that's her alter? And
Avatar.
like,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think she
sorry,
does.
not
I would
alter,
assume
Avatar.
so.
Like, I feel like you should know more about like what's going on here, or like somebody should be able to. Can
What?
no one go get Kansu?
When they met the gods and there was that one girl that was talking to Mark, whose avatar was she?
She's the love goddess who is a cat, I think.
Meow.
Hang on.
I did think, since we're on this topic, that she just kind of went along with and agreed with Mark and Steven's plan without any questioning. She's just like, sure, why not? Here we go. And I was like, oh, okay.
Also, she thinks they're twins. Is it fair to judge twins on the same set of scales?
I would
feel like it's
assume-
not. I don't know. My twin can be a douche.
I think she was just using that, not ironically.
Well, she
but-
initially thought they were twins, and then didn't they immediately correct her?
No, one of them said yes and one of
Well-
them said no, and she was like, wonderful.
And we got to remember, this is not her primary like job. So she was reading like all the little papyrus scripts and stuff like
Oh,
of
Yeah.
what to do. So
I took
she doesn't know like the procedure down.
And
I
like
took it as she hasn't done it in a long time because
That too, yeah, because not a
unless
lot
there
of
was
people believe in
yeah
that like religion or just that mythology.
that it's that they don't believe in the Egyptian gods anymore because there is like a whole like theory in Marvel that if people don't like stop believing in the different gods that exist and like their stories stop being told, that like they lose kind of their power and their ability to have an effect over the world. Also, that hot chick is Hathor's avatar. Um and
Hathor?
she's
I
just a
barely know her.
lady. She's not a cat.
You made that
She's
joke
just a
already,
lady.
bro.
yeah.
Yep.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah,
Come on,
probably did.
repeats.
Yeah, and she is the goddess of music, dance, joy, love, sex, and maternal care.
Hell yeah! Sorry.
Nice.
Yeah, and
All
she's
fun
just like
things.
a lady.
A lot of
Oh,
a
and
lot.
she fucks Kansu. I shouldn't have said it that way. This is a religion, but one of her consorts that's listed here is Kansu. And now that I'm saying that out loud, they absolutely say that in the episode because I absolutely commented on it. Doing great.
Well, yeah, like she's talking to Steven, like, or she's talking to Mark,
Mark.
like, damn, I want to bang you, Oscar Isaac.
And she's like, "Have you never like has Kansu really never mentioned us?" And he's like, "No."
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you're
Also, the dude who played young Mark for like 5 seconds, where he's just yelling like, "I'm leaving, I'm going to school" or whatever. I just
looks nothing like Oscar Isaac.
okay. See, what I was gonna say is just imagine just getting to be like, I got told I looked like a young Oscar Isaac. Like, I would ride that high for a millennia.
Yeah, but like Oscar Isaac has been in the public eye for the last 20 some odd years. Like, that kid has to know he doesn't look like a young Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Maybe he looks like a young Mark Spector. Okay.
He's
Different
good
universe.
looking in his own right.
Yeah, no, he's hot, but like it was the other. I have a note that was just like a stupid thing that I wrote to myself to remember to like tell Jordan, where it was like, I feel bad for the people who cast young Mark Spector because like 2 weeks before the show came out, Oscar Isaac was blasting home videos all over the place. So I know what young Oscar Isaac looks like, and it's not this. I now know what he looks like as a child.
Yeah.
But yeah, being in the field, what, fuck.
Field of Dreams.
All I can think of is Field of Dreams.
Oh,
Field of
Field
Reeds.
of Reeds.
Sorry,
Is that your
Austin,
read?
you cut out. Yeah,
Okay.
you cut out, and I didn't hear what you said, so I wasn't sure if you were talking.
The one time I give an answer and it's just gone.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay.
But yeah, the Field of Reeds, like that was such a pretty, like that was such a beautiful scene to end on. But is anybody else surprised we haven't had an end? Like, I just thought there would be an end
Yeah,
credit
so
scene
but this one I
week.
did. Like I wanted to double check and make sure there wasn't one.
This is
I
this is
think
the
we'll get one
this is
next
the episode
week.
where I thought that they would have
think-
one, because the other Disney Plus shows
It was the last two episodes.
it would be the
usually
last
had
two
one.
usually. Yeah.
Wanda,
Yeah.
the last three had them, but everything else it was the last two.
I
Yeah.
want to say that we're gonna get Jake in the post credit of this last one, but because I'm predicting it, it won't come true. So,
But
just
I
keep
also
that what it
can't-
is.
But I also can't imagine what else the end credit scene would be.
A fourth altar. You
I
meet
mean-
Jake in the third episode, and then
The only
Either-
thought, the only
Either-
thought I have is something to do with what's the bad guy in the new Thor movie?
Gore.
Gore.
Doesn't he hunt gods?
Yes.
Isn't that his
Mhm.
thing?
Gore the God?
So I thought maybe there's a post credit for that, and I think Kind of Funny shared that as well. But
That would be great synergy. I know next week, which is the last episode, is also the same week Doctor Strange comes out,
Yeah,
and
2 days apart.
they have
and
obviously
we do know that Thor 4 is going to introduce the Greek gods that exist in the comics. So, and Gore goes after them too, so you know.
But yeah, the comics connection between Doctor Strange and Moon Knight being in the Midnight Suns. So there were rumors about that popping up last couple weeks. So that could
Yeah.
play a role as well, maybe.
That was the
'Cause
only
Blade
other-
showed up in Eternals. So
That was the only other thing I could think of was maybe we saw something that had to do with Blade or Kit Harington, but
mhm.
I don't know. Like, I don't really know like what
Maybe they give us another number from Rogers the Musical.
No. No. Please, let's not do that.
Yeah, it will most likely be Jake, but just because I'm predicting it, it's not going to happen. So just keep it.
Predict other stuff.
Never bet on Austin.
Predict the opposite of other stuff we want to happen.
Like what?
I don't know, man.
Blame on me. I'll say it. I'll say it on record.
Listen, I already got my dream Marvel
But is this
movie.
like a wish where, like, if you tell somebody it's undone, it won't happen?
Fair.
I mean, it seems that way. It's even more cruel because like it always portrays on screen like I'm gonna be right, and then it's like it just turns it at the last second. I'm like, cool, fuck, god damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. We can't all be right all the time.
I'm just never right though. Is the thing.
Eh.
I'm always so close. I wish I was
Someday.
just wrong.
Someday,
Well,
buddy.
we're in a phase of Marvel where, like, being right is not... Like, I don't think any of us who have been right in the past with the Marvel shows are right because we're intelligent. I think we're right because we got lucky.
Sure.
Like, you know, there's a lot of shit that, like, one of us as a joke was like, I think this is gonna happen, and then it did, and we're like, well...
I've been joking about a live-action Spider-Verse since 2016.
Yep.
We made jokes
You did
that what's-his-face was gonna murder somebody in the street, and then it happened. And that was absolutely that we were just fucking around about what's-his-name.
Please.
All I can think of is Wyatt Russell. I cannot think of the
Put
character's
some
name.
respect on his name.
John.
Come
Thank you.
on.
All my brain was doing was John Wyatt, which I knew isn't right, that Wyatt's the actor, and, like, I couldn't get past that block.
The hero we need.
Okay.
Anyway,
no, stop it.
to bring it back, this was my favorite episode. Like this whole like what's real was cool on the tail end of the previous episode, but getting the like all the revelations of everything that it's been building up to, I really enjoyed that, and in the context that we got it in, and yeah, it was really entertaining from start to finish. This was the only episode where I wasn't looking at my phone, so take that for what you will.
It was so good.
I love this episode. It was great. I'm so excited for next week.
I could see myself rewatching just this episode, and I don't do that for shows. Like I always want like I watch filler because like I can't not like for anime and stuff. Like I can't not watch filler, and I can't just jump in the middle of one.
Because you're like, there might be the tiniest little bit of lore that I need to know.
I'm gonna forget, and I'm not gonna know who this dude is. Yeah, like just the other day, I was trying to catch up on Naruto and Boruto, and there's a name called like Yamato and then Minato, and I had them mixed up in my head, and I was so mad, and I had to Google this, and it took me like 20 minutes to figure it out. I'm like, oh, I'm just stupid. I just mixed up these two names. Wonderful, cool.
To be fair, everybody in that show, I guess, apparently just names their kid their name with the first letter change, so that could get confusing.
I mean, that's not true. I mean, there's Shikamaru's son is Shikadai, and then if you're a villain in Dragon Ball Z, you're just named after a vegetable or some fruit or something. It's weird.
There
are a lot of characters in Japanese animes that what?
I've explained that vegetable thing to you.
Yeah, there are a lot of anime because my response to always there are a lot of animes that have people named after like fruits and vegetables. Like there was one I watched when I was lettuce.
I think there's a lettuce
in
Dragon Ball.
Trying to say, don't eat your veg. Like,
well, in Japanese, Ash's name is Satoshi, and then like, Pokemon was getting translated to English, and they were like, the phrase is "gotta catch 'em all." Let's make his last name Ketchum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It works.
It works.
There were a lot of stupid jokes at a theater conference I used to go to because I went to a high school called Ketchum.
I love that.
Spell only one letter different
Than the character.
Mm-hmm.
See, there's an old comic I saw, like joke web comic, where it's like Ash is like 100 years old and is like finally become a Pokemon master, and the town is like, we're gonna honor you by building you your own shopping center, the Ketchum Mall.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
But
I'm really
will
excited
catch
for
all
next
the
week.
gods next week, guys. So stay tuned. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.